Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the fundamentals and just kind of talk about a few things that are going on in the world in addition to the stuff that's on the Forex Factory calendar. So um, we have pretty much a light week compared to last week when it comes to USD news, although we do have several important news items coming out for the euro this week. So today there was like I don't want to call it minor, but there was a speech from Jerome Powell this morning. Really wasn't paying that much attention to it because we just had a speech from him last week. So everything that we really need to hear from Jerome Powell or the Fed came out last week. However, tomorrow he is testifying. So testifying versus a speech are two totally different things. So the testimony that he's giving tomorrow is going to be with Secretary or Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. This is going to be on the CARES Act, aka all of the stimulus money that has gone out. So this is going to be super important tomorrow for you guys to listen to, follow along with, whatever the case may be, because not only is it Jerome Powell, but it's Janet Yellen. So you have two of the most powerful financial heads in the United States coming together to actually talk. Also, you have information coming out and things that are going to be said that really um, will go to the heart of why we're getting this stimulus money. Is the stimulus money helping? What are the economic indicators that are showing that these numbers are working? What is the plan going forward? What is the Fed and this Treasury Secretary's plan for if things don't work, for if things work, but we start to see certain parts of the economy come back before others, as is typical when something like this happens. So anytime you go into like a depression or recession or a pullback in the market, there are going to be elements of the market that come back before others. Like you could have manufacturing and services come back before travel and leisure. So things like that, that's what they're going to be talking about. Also, jobs falls into that category. Stable pricing is going to come up because this testimony is going to be given before the House Financial Services Committee. So they really care when it comes down to the price of items, how that's really going to affect the people, how that's going to affect the banking system. So a lot of that's going to be talked about tomorrow. And I plan to listen. I really want to hear what Janet Yellen is going to say. Janet Yellen has been in Jerome Powell's position before, so she knows what it feels like to be grilled by Congress from the standpoint of being a Fed chair. Now she's going to be grilled from the standpoint of being a Treasury Secretary, and they're two different responsibilities. So she is now sitting in a position that's new to her, but now, also looking at Jerome Powell, knowing that that's a position she used to be in. She's going to have to answer these questions different. She's going to have to really stay level-headed and make sure she just answers the questions and doesn't add anything extra. I say that because when Janet Yellen was the Fed chair, and when she was a big part of the Fed, she would answer questions, but she would tend to give more information than necessary or elaborate in ways that then when she was asked a question about whatever she elaborated on, she stumbled. And then that just caused the market to fluctuate all over the place. So if she starts to do that tomorrow, then I expect for the market to fluctuate. Also with Jerome Powell, during his last speech, he was kind of antsy. So he was shifting back and forth and he was just kind of referring back to old Fed meetings that they had, playing with his glasses and stuff. So they just let me know that he was kind of over it. He was fed up. He was just kind of like ready to get it done and over with. That's not the kind of sign you want to see from a Fed chair when they're answering really critical questions about the economy, nor is it something that you want to see from Janet Yellen. She plays with her hair a lot. She turns red. She starts thumping her pen up against the table. So those are just things, like, think about things that you would notice someone else doing sitting across from you at the table if you were having a meeting with someone, um, fidgeting, bouncing a pen, playing with their glasses, playing with their hair. Those things, um, especially coming from a person in this position, is not good. The market pays attention to those things. They see that as a sign of nervousness, of uncertainty, that that person is just trying to come up with an answer off the seat of their pants, or they're irritated. And a person being in this position, being irritated, just means that they don't like the line of questioning, which speaks to fractures or instability in that part of the market that they don't necessarily want to speak on, because they know the ramifications of saying certain things and how people can take it, the sentiment of the market. Both of these individuals understand all those things very, very well. They've been in the banking system long enough to know what trigger words to say and to not say. And sometimes Congress tries to force them to say and elaborate on things that they know um, will move the market. So it puts them in a difficult position. But however, tomorrow, please pay attention to that. On to Wednesday. Wednesday is when we get a lot of the heavy Euro news. So this is going to be like a couple of hours after London opens. So still a pretty volatile time during London session. You'll get some French flash news, German flash news, and then overall Euro flash news. We'll get flash news for the GBP. Later, once New York session opens, we'll get flash news for the United States. We'll also get the part 2 of Jerome Powell testifying. And then on Wednesday, they'll be testifying before a different committee. So this will be the Senate Banking Committee. So anytime Jerome Powell testifies, he'll testify in front of the House, and then he'll testify in front of the Senate, because they both have banking or financial committees. So anyway, he'll testify in front of both, and Janet Yellen will also be there as well. So they both will be testifying on Tuesday and Wednesday. So Wednesday will also be another very important day for the Fed. In addition to that, we get crude oil inventories. That's a weekly thing that we get for oil. So just make sure you're paying attention to oil news if you plan to be in any oil or Canadian dollar trades. And then we get Christine Lagarde speaking as well. So Euro USD on Wednesday between like 9:30 in the morning, right when New York opens, or like the actual stock market opens, and noon to maybe like 1 o'clock in the afternoon is going to be very volatile. Why? Because you have the heads of both banking systems speaking in that time frame. So you'll get the USD fluctuation. Then when Christine Lagarde starts speaking, you'll get the Euro fluctuation. So Euro USD is just going to be somewhat all over the place potentially on Wednesday when she starts speaking. And you can always click on these folders, find out where they're speaking and what the significance of it is. So when I say that, when you look here at this description, if they're speaking in front of if they're speaking in front of their government, if they're speaking in front of another banking committee or some type of financial group, that's super important. Those tend to move the markets more so than if they were speaking at a seminar, or if they were speaking at a university, or just doing a generalized webinar, because they're not really going to say anything to a university that's going to move the markets. They would say that information to their own government or to a banking committee in their country that has some type of oversight. So like I said, again, when you're looking at the description, Banking committees, talking to their governments, those are super important. Talking to universities and just generalized seminars, not quite as important. But this one is going to be important because when she's speaking, it's going to be an online conference hosted by Project Syndicate, the European Investment Bank, and the European Commission. So that's super important. The European Commission is the same as the group of people who kind of oversee the European banking policy. So super important. So yeah, Christine Lagarde will be doing that speech at 11:40 Eastern time. Thursday, we get some tentative news from the Bank of Japan. We get Governor Kuruda, who will be speaking. It's tentative because, like I said, with Japanese news, we only get the time about an hour before the speech actually happens. So it'll be tentative up until they release the time. Swiss franc hardly ever has news on the Forex Factory calendar. So when it does come out, it's super important. This is going to be even more so important because the Swiss franc is a safe haven. Safe haven currencies and investment vehicles are just that, they're safe havens. So when things are going bad in any economy, it doesn't have to be just the US, but anywhere in the world, if things are going bad, where would you want to put your money where it would hold its value? And that's what safe havens do. Safe havens are where people would go to say, hey, I want to put my money here, or I want to put my money in this investment vehicle so it holds its value, either A, until I'm ready to take it out, or two, until my own country's currency bounces back and I can transfer it back into my currency and not lose anything, or possibly gain money. Who knows? But the Swiss franc holds that status as a currency for several reasons. So the Swiss franc is a safe haven because it has a very, very, very stable economy. They have a great job market. They are one of the leading economies in a lot of different areas. And the other thing is that they have a negative interest rate. You can't always look at a negative interest rate and say that that country's a safe haven, because Europe has a negative interest rate, but they're not a safe haven. Japan has a negative interest rate and they're barely a safe haven right now. So you have to also know and look at the economy and see how stable it is. Um, a lot of times when people think of Swiss or Switzerland, period, they think of like Swiss bank accounts. Um, so that's where people put their money to actually hold the value. So we see with Switzerland that rate news, that interest rate that I was just pointing out, it's negative 0.75%. I don't think they're going to change their rate. Why would they? They haven't changed their rate in a while. So we would just be looking forward to hearing what they plan to do, how they actually plan on helping out other countries when it comes to COVID, and then also just maintaining, their status as who they are. Also, lately they've been talking about digital currency and they've been talking about moving and progressing their currency. So that's one thing that I want to hear about in their policy assessment. It might not be mentioned much, but even a little paragraph or maybe 3 sentences will suffice if they even mention it. Okay, moving on. So, Canada, we have a lot of speeches this week. 5:30 a.m. on Thursday is going to be a heavy time because we have Canada's bank governor speaking, we have Christine Lagarde speaking, we have Germany's bank president speaking, we have the Bank of England president speaking, and we have an FOMC member speaking at 5:30 on Thursday morning. So what does that mean? USD CAD, Euro USD, GBP Euro USD, and any combination of these currencies right here as pairs. Yeah, that's going to really move the market. And then not only that, but we have the EU summit starting as well. So that's when The European Union, those 18 countries get together and they talk about the economic climate and they talk about what's going on in Europe and how they plan to move forward. Yeah, that also starts on Thursday. So Thursday is going to be a really big day for any type of European currencies, European governments, and then any trades that you plan to do that have Europe in mind. Later that morning, we have the final GDP number coming out for the United States. This number is just really going to be showing us a finalized report of how much our economy has grown, stayed the same, or has gotten smaller. So that's all that number is going to be telling us on Thursday when it comes out. On Friday, we have GBP news. It's going to be retail sales, which is going to be important in showing us how people have spent money. I'm interested in looking at that number for the GBP because they've had some of the most stringent and tight rules with COVID and how people can go out and spend and shop out of any country. A lot of countries have had pretty strict rules, but I think the UK has kept it really, really tight. So I would want to see how during that period of time people were actually able to spend money and to see where they plan on going forward with their retail sales because they have to grow their economy. One thing we have to think about with GBP, which is the UK, they just came out of Brexit. So we have to monitor that whole situation with Brexit and them coming out and growing and being independent and apart from the European Union now. So that's going to be really important that we continue to see growth out of any number that comes out of the GBP. Also on Friday, we get German business climate news. So this is going to be telling us how like literally what it sounds like, how the businesses are doing in Germany, their growth, how much money they're spending, how much money are they bringing in, what is it, what is the whole work environment like for their employees, the benefits they're having to pay out, their salaries, how much growth do they think they're going to be able to have in the next 6 months, year, 3 years, 5 years. And then we might not get 10 years on this one. Ever since COVID started, they cut out the 10-year portion, but we might get a 10-year prediction for the German climate going forward. This is also going to be the second day of the EU summit. We get Euro summit. So it's a lot of stuff going on in Europe this week, a lot of stuff to pay attention to. The other thing to pay attention to is not so much going to affect trades this week, but next week is that Europe is going to have daylight savings time. So if you are a London trader, please pay attention to daylight savings time. That's why I recommend that you guys get an app, either FX Hours or whatever app you choose to get, but get an app that is going to actually give you the time that the sessions open. I use FX Hours because it gives you a world map. It tells you what sessions are open. It tells you what sessions are closed and how long it's going to be before your session that you're looking for is going to open. So it'll count down to London session. It'll count down to New York once New York is closed. So it'll tell you. You can set an alarm. You can have it send you a notification to your phone. Just get something so that you're not late for your session, because that's the last thing you want, especially with these currencies. They're all the major currencies. So Switzerland, the actual European Union itself, and the UK. So pretty much all of Europe is going to be going through daylight savings time on Sunday. So pay attention to that. All right, so I'm done with the Forex Factory calendar. As for the news that I told you guys that I was just going to mention briefly, over the weekend, Turkey changed its interest rate by 200 basis points. 200 basis points is 2%. 2% Doesn't sound like a lot, but when your interest rate was 17% and now it's 19%, that's a lot. So anyway, long story short, the central bank in Turkey changed the interest rate. They went up 2%. The head of the central bank was fired, and the combination of the interest rate going up that much, in addition to the head of the central bank being fired, just caused the Turkish currency to collapse. So when I sent out the message in the group chat earlier and I was talking about, another currency being on the rocks, it's essentially the Turkish lira. Anytime we start talking about changing interest rates right now and the type of climate that we're in and firing banking officials, it's always going to have a serious effect on the currency and on the economy, because you're not expecting for the head of any bank to be fired. That's like if they fired Jerome Powell tomorrow, like you would see a serious dip in the US dollar, because Jerome Powell has given speeches. We know when his term ends. His term ends in 2023. So if you have an understanding of a person's mindset, they've already given you speeches and told you what their thought process was going to be in the near and midterm future. You already have an idea of what your economy is going to look like. If you fire that person and put a new person in, you have no idea what that person's thinking. You have no idea of what they're going to do with your economy, with your money, with your interest rates, with monetary policy. So that's why the Turkish lira and their economy right now is so in flux, and it's just kind of threw them for a loop. I pulled up this website. It's global-rates.com. You can use this site. There are other sites you can use as well to keep up with interest rates, but it's not something you have to do on a day-to-day basis. I just do it maybe like once a week or so, just to see what rates are and to also see who has changed rates lately. So this year we've had the Mexican peso has well, the Mexican government, I should say, changed their interest rate. The Brazilian government, Turkish, and then the Russian government has changed their interest rates. Also, if you just want to look to see what the highest interest rates are, right now it's Mexico, India, Russia, Indonesia, and Turkey have like the highest interest rates right now out of any country. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, let me go back. For those countries, it is a bad thing. Some of these mid-level interest rates, like right in here, sometimes a country having an interest rate that's above zero, considering that we just went through COVID, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because at the end of the day, why do you drop interest rates? You drop interest rates to encourage people to spend, and you're also encouraging banks to lend out money. So when banks, okay, I'll give you guys like a super quick banking loan lesson, super quick. So you go to the bank, you see what the interest rate that you have to pay on your loan is. This interest rate right here is how much the bank actually gets that money from the Fed. So the difference between the two is their profit. So if the Fed drops rates for the banks, then they can keep the rate for you the same and make more money. So it encourages them to lend out money, which is why we do that whole process of dropping interest rates. And the whole purpose of trying to lend out more money is so that people will take out the loans, spend the money, and drive the economy forward. So that's another way of stimulating the economy. So over this last 18 months or so, the government has not only printed trillions of dollars, but they've also on the back end stimulated the economy with billions of dollars just by lowering interest rates alone. And then, as I pointed out on the last Zoom call, they're funding banks with billions of dollars per month, and then they're also buying more mortgage-backed securities as well. So they're constantly stimulating the economy every month. You just don't necessarily hear about it because it doesn't directly affect you. But these interest rates are important for that reason. That's why I monitor them at least once a week to see what's going on. And then I just look to see what our interest rate is here in the US compared to other countries and how much further we have to go before we actually hit zero. And hitting zero is a very critical point in the market. So that's that for interest rates. The other thing I just wanted to point out really quick is that we've had spring break, kind of going through that spring break period now. COVID cases are going up again. I don't keep track of the actual numbers for it because different sources will tell you different things. However, all across the board, just there's an increase. There's an increase, and some places will say it's, the numbers have gone up by 5%. Some will say 10. Some will say it's doubled, but doubled compared to what? So I just look at where the trend is heading. The trend is just heading that cases are going up, but also the trend is that more people are getting the vaccine. So if you are planning to do any type of international travel, I suggest that you go to this website. It's IATA. So they have a travel pass initiative. So in order to travel outside of the country and be accepted into most countries around the world from the United States, you have to have had a COVID test within the last 48 to 72 hours or the vaccine. And then before you come back into the United States, you will need to have had a COVID test 48 to 72 hours before you come back, or the vaccine. Hopefully before you left, you got the vaccine and you're not getting the vaccine in another country. But that's the important part about all of that is keeping track of that information. So they're coming up with like a travel passport for health information. So any vaccines, not just the COVID vaccine or test, but they're coming up with a travel pass or travel passport where you can actually keep up with all of your requirements from a vaccination standpoint to go to countries. So if you've never traveled international and you're thinking about doing it this year, make sure you go to the travel department's website. I'll put it in the Zoom link. I'll put the I'll put the link for their department in the Zoom chat whenever I'm done. But essentially what that's going to do for you is it's going to list out every country, and each department will have whatever you need to get into that country, whether it's the vaccine, whether it's shots, whether it's, and not even so much an actual vaccination, it might be a booster, things to look out for, things that you need to take with you, countries that you might visit where they recommend that you talk to the embassy before you get there. So, it's just all those things I want to make sure you guys are like super aware of. If you plan to travel. But this travel passport for those who plan on going out of the country will be pretty beneficial. If you don't want to do this, it's not mandatory. Some airlines are actually asking their customers to get it, but you can carry the piece of paper with you if you get the vaccine or if you've gotten a test. The only thing is you can't let that piece of paper get wet or damaged while you're traveling. So if you're going through the airport at your destination airport and they decide to search your luggage going through customs and they damage your paperwork, then you have no paperwork stating that you have the vaccine. So you're going to have a really hard time getting back into the United States. So just keep all that in mind whenever you're planning to travel, or if you know someone who's planning to travel, keep that stuff in mind. All right, so I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Level so that he can get started with the technicals, and I'll drop that link for you guys in the chat.
Cool beans. Cool beans. Great job, Corman, as always. A lot of great information. Definitely a news packed week. Definitely got to be aware of our fundamentals this week and every one of those news items that's coming out because, as y'all know, fundamentals is king. Fundamentals is king. So, with that being said, I'll go ahead and jump into these technicals. Alrighty. So, all right. So, being that it's a news packed week, and as you already know, we don't predict the market, we roll with the market. So, however, I did tell you guys, and I have been telling you guys that I have been expecting to see the dollar give us some bullish momentum because of the fundamentals behind that's driving it, because of the stimulus, basically. Um, as you can see, we have been getting some bullish momentum to the upside. We've been making higher highs and higher lows. And so basically, we just want to follow the trend. As you know, the trend is your friend. So we just want to follow price action. And that's what we trade, price action and market structure. So I want to see if the dollar comes back and retests its previous high and break, retest, and keep pushing to the upside. I do see areas of imbalance to the upside that I would like to see price come and fill in, particularly here, around about 0.95, point 0.4, 0.95, point 0.6. And so the confirmation for me that price is going to reach to fill in that imbalance up there is that we see price come back and retest this high break, retest and give us push to the upside. That would be your typical play. Um, if you extend that out, you'll see that those are fairly equal highs right there. We know what sit above that. A little pool of liquidity right there, a little pool of money. So we see price swing up, take that out, retest these previous highs, fill in this imbalance. That would be beautiful for this week. That's what I'm wanting to see. But as y'all know, the market do what the market want to do. So we just flow with the market. So with that being said, let's move on and look at our currency pairs because we understand that our currency pairs move in the opposite direction of the dollar. And so I'm expecting the dollar to be bullish this week. I want to see my currency pairs be bearish. Um, However, we could see price reach to fill in this imbalance before we see price give us the sell. Um, we have this area of imbalance to the downside that I would like to see price reach for if the dollar decides to keep pushing to the upside. That would be beautiful. That way we would know that Euro USD is gonna come on down and reach for this imbalance right here. But keep in mind, it is a heavy news week. It is a heavy news week. So technicals are gonna be kind of, you're gonna have to wing that thing. You're gonna have to be on the charts. You can't be setting trades and um when you said it, make sure that stop loss is tight because it's a heavy news week. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So I do want to see Euro USD give us bearish momentum this week. So that's the setup we'll be looking for. Of course, we'll be looking for the setup at London market, our time and price setup, um, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. now with daylight savings, 1 a.m. to 6 a.m., but you still usually see the setup right at London open. So with GBP USD, looking for basically the same price movement. I want to see price reach for this imbalance to the downside. We see right here, price came right here, never reached back down to fill in that imbalance. It just popped right off of that level to the upside, did it again right here. So we want to see it reach down in there. Price very well could very well keep rolling over, keep selling to the downside if the dollar keep pushing to the upside. So just keep that in mind. And then once price get here for GBP USD, if it roll over, this would be your next take profit, which is like a pip difference of 70 something pips, 77 pips. So overall for GBP USD, it's a potential 170 pip trade for the week. NZD, look at her. Look at her go. Same thing. Um, Want to see NZD USD reach for this imbalance here. We see this imbalance has never been retested or filled in. Right here, we've seen price. It's like, this is beautiful. So definitely looking to take a bow for there. When price get back down in there. And for now, Oh yeah, she out of here. Wait for you a nice little pullback. Jump up in there. Yeah, she all good. All you want to wait for time and price, London. See, she. hmm So, what NZD the only one moving like that? Let me see. We just. Oh, we just. Okay. So let's go to our metals. Looking at silver. I want to see silver. Give us some bearish momentum. I still want to see silver come down in here. Um, yeah. So see that we just had this engulfing candle form right here. Um, as I call it, auto block. As y'all know, that's coined by Michael Huddleston. That is my mentor. Um, but I see this auto block that just formed on this last daily candle. So we could see silver just roll on over to come down here and fill in this imbalance. I've been telling y'all for a while that I wanted to see silver come back down here and retest this $23 price level. We may get that move this week. So pay attention. Pay attention. Moving on to gold. Yeah. Gold look like she want to come back up here and fill in this imbalance before she give us this move to the downside. That's just how gold rock. That's just how she rock. But I do want to see gold come down and fill in this imbalance down here. Um, and gold could very well just go ahead and roll over from current price, where price is currently at, and just reach for this imbalance. So for all you aggressive traders out there, if you say Miss Love said take it, I'm gonna take it, I definitely will have my stop loss tight right there. Don't give her no room to play. Don't play with her. Cause that's gold. And gold don't play. Put some respect on gold name. And I ain't gonna tell you no more. So moving on to oil. I want to see oil reach. But let me see one thing right quick. Let me look at it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm. Oh, it's some mean divergence going on between the dollar and oil. Um, yeah, had to pay close attention to that. I'm gonna come back to oil, y'all. I'm gonna look at oil after the call. Let y'all know. So we might have a nice play for oil. I'm gonna have to check it out though after the call. Um, looking at U30, 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 U30. Man, U30 gonna show out this week. Um, yeah, she gonna show out this week. See how she gonna play though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, I want to see U30 give us this bearish move this week. Come down here and fill in this imbalance. Let me see. Yeah, we talking about at least like a 5,000 pip move this week. So yeah, let me see some. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, yeah. Yeah. Let me see some. Yeah, U30 gonna she gonna play some games this week, y'all, cause she gonna give us a big move. I'm gonna get caught slipping out there in that water. That for sure. Catch me. Better believe that slip. Yeah. Yeah. We gonna see. Either we gonna roll over now. Either we gonna go ahead and roll over now. Either we gonna go ahead and roll over now. We gonna reach. Grab that liquidity. Come back down, retest that structure. Feeling that imbalance for one last fake out. And then give us um yeah, yeah. I like that. So yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna be having my hold on, let me see something. Let me put my time and price up here. Um, it ain't gonna take that long to play out. I don't think I don't think it's gonna take that long to play out. We might see this. We should see this. We might see the first half of it, the first half of the week, and the last half to reach for that downside liquidity around mid-week or so. But that's my analysis. And yeah, I like that. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for out of U30 to start the week out with. Um, As y'all know, we don't predict the market, we roll with the markets, but I do give you my analysis. Um, and that's my analysis for you 30. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop my share and I'm gonna pass it over to my bro, my business partner, my bro for life, Ghost Trader,
What's
and
going
see
on?
if he got
What's going on?
anything to share with y'all.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty much with you in common, man. I'm gonna just pull my chart up. It's gonna be a newsy week.
Yeah,
A lot of news going down, man. I think it's just gonna be me personally. I think it's gonna be a lot of manipulation before it makes it move.
you
Makes it
better believe
move,
it.
and I definitely don't want to get caught in a manipulation. So I'm definitely going to be on the sidelines. Usually I post my trades and post my, my wins and losses and, what I made and all of that. But you don't see me post this week because I'm going to be on the sidelines. This is heavy news, but I definitely got the U30 coming down some. I got it coming up here before it comes down, but I really don't know, man. I really don't know. It exhausted itself. We first of all, let me go back here. Let me go to this fly.
Put,
Could you see my chart?
put your, yeah, no, put your chart up,
Oh
please.
shoot, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Hold on, I'm tripping. I can't even see my chart. Share screen. I'm tripping. All right. Y'all can see me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Oh
start
yeah.
go up right here. So you know, we're definitely in an uptrend. We got a big push to the downside, but it didn't break here. Couldn't break under this level right here. Now it's pushing back up. So if I was to take a play right now, I would wait for a nice pullback and jump in a buy just because it is on an uptrend. We're in an uptrend. I would be careful on a counter trend trade, but I do believe it's going to retest somewhere in this level right here before it give us a drop. But that's just me. That's just my analysis. I'm gonna wait to play out and see because the news is here. The news is on, and I really don't know what it's gonna do. Like we could stop the down move now because it definitely exhausted itself out and been playing in this area right here. This is a level of concern for me right here. Depending how it runs into here, if it comes up this far and the candles look, it might be a selling point right here also. I'm just watching right now. I'm just watching. There's going to be a lot of market manipulation going on. And, stimulus came out, fundamentals come and just said it. You just said it. So there's a lot of news coming out. I'm just waiting, man. I'm waiting patiently. I think it's going to come down. I just don't know when it's going to start to shoot down. So I'm waiting on the sidelines like you are right now. That's what I got for U30. I'm just being patient, man. Being patient.
Cool, man. Absolutely, absolutely. And ain't nothing wrong with that. That is the smart thing to do. That's the wise thing to do.
Because it's going to like we might get a wick up, wick down, wick up, wick down, clear everybody out. They hit everybody stop losses, then go the way it want to go. I don't want to be in that.
No,
I,
nobody wants to be in
I
that.
don't want to be in that. I don't want to gamble that. So I'm just waiting on the sidelines. Every day is not a trading day. I try to. Don't get it wrong, but it's a lot of news coming out this week. So I want to protect my capital. That's the first
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely.
I want to protect my capital. So I want to move to gold. I definitely had gold coming down. I didn't take the trade though. I don't know why I didn't take the trade. It's been definitely hold on, move this. It's definitely been this is my 4 hour trend line. Um I had gold coming down for a short term. Every time it bounced off this 4 hour trend line, and this trend channel has been reacting off of it, and that's where it is right now. So, you know, along with that and a couple other patterns as far as candles and engulfing candles and just the way it's exhausted itself out from this temporary uptrend right here. I didn't take the move. This was a sell. It was a lot of sell confirmation here. I just didn't take it, to be honest, guys. I've been you know, sometimes I try to get every move, but I'm satisfied with what's going on so far. So I'm on real capital protection this week. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't, with all this news coming out, I really have no clue what's going to happen, man. So I'm just sitting here on the sideline waiting, to be honest, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Nobody knows what's going to happen this week.
Yeah, like,
Nobody know. Everybody that's in the market trading is guessing.
yeah, man.
Guessing, they're chasing trade, and 90% of those traders is gonna get their head knocked off this week.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a fact.
I know it's very hard to sit back. It's very hard to sit back. It's, you know, I've been that anxious trader, anxious to take a trade, you know, to do what I learned, to do the new stuff that I learned. But like I said, I'm just sitting on the sidelines. I may take a trade this week. I don't know. I may wait till the smoke clears and it gets a clear direction on where I want to go and just take it from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I got. I don't really got nothing, man. I'm just being patient. Like, I'm being patient. GJ, it's on an uptrend. It came down. I personally would like for it to. I'm looking to continue to go up until it goes down. You know me, it's up till it's down, or it's down until it's up.
Absolutely.
That's how I trade. If it's an uptrend, I'm gonna wait for a pullback to go to the uptrend. You know, if it's a downtrend, I'm gonna wait for a pullback for a sell. That's just how I trade. You know, when I get in the groove, I might do some counter trend trading, but initially, I'm going with the trend until I can kind of figure out how it's moving within the hours and the minutes. Then I might take a counter trend trade. But right now, this looks like a steady level. Look like it's going to continue back up. I'm just waiting to see some things. These wicks let me know that the buyers stepped in. These are 4 hour, 4, 8, 12, 16. It's over 24 hours of the buyers stepping back in right here and saying, we like this level right here. So I'm going to look on a smaller time frame and kind of look for an entry, a possible entry. But other than that, like, again, I'm just on the sidelines. I may trade and may not. So that's what I got, bro. I'm just waiting this week, man.
Absolutely. Cool beans. Appreciate you, bro. So I'll take any questions now and start the recording.